not to be lonely, what's happening is that we are expecting from the partner that he will solve our loneliness. And our partner solving the loneliness, it's impossible. And that will start a whole pattern in the relationship, which the effect in the end, possibly, that you will feel more lonely as before. Which is exactly true. This is basically one of the things about life. You could say this is a little bit cruel, but there is a very beautiful side to it as well. It's often what we try not to experience, that the experience we try to kind of to move around, or that this experience slowly is growing and growing and growing to a point we cannot move around it anymore, and we're confronted with it. And then we have almost no choice but to experience it. And then often when we experience it, it's not as difficult as we thought it is. Yeah.
To bring it down to the subject that it started with, the loneliness, what Bart's saying about things splitting into polarities in creation. So it's a little bit like the like and the dislike, or the knowing and the not knowing. So with loneliness there's also a polarity. It's got its opposite, which is togetherness, or in the case of loving relationships, intimacy. So in a way, wherever there's an affliction, like loneliness or suffering, you can look for the polarity. So if you look towards, so you have a fear of loneliness, then the question that would arise would be, is there a fear of intimacy? Am I allowing myself to open up and to be intimate? Now these two, in this very local level, come together when you are intimate enough to admit you're lonely. This is where you begin to see the two coming together. Now intimacy, if it has a condition that loneliness is not part of that, is already less intimate. And it starts to spiral in a direction outwards from coming towards a unity between the polarities of togetherness and intimacy and loneliness, towards increasing loneliness and more pretended intimacy. Because we want intimacy but not the loneliness. We can be, as couples and as families and in loving relationships, it's totally possible to be together lonely, to be lonely together. This really has the space to exist. There's a sadness in it. And it's also a very beautiful emotion which is founded on a reality. Things do change. There is a sadness around things changing. People come together and they part for a while and they come together. Loneliness is the support to intimacy. Because if you can allow the loneliness when you're less together, and allow it, then you're still open to come together when it's possible. But if the loneliness is not allowed, then there's a kind of hunt going on, which brings up other emotions, and then it can it can move into rejection, which creates more loneliness on both sides already. So the intimacy is getting lost. So it's really good in the whole range of living feelings to look for the opposites, to see where there's a dance going on between two opposites, like dislike, loneliness, intimacy, and to see where we're not giving ourselves the permission to feel. It's not like it's either or you're lonely or you're together and intimate. It's not. You can be both at the same time. And you can be both actually together. In one level, the whole of humanity seems to be very lonely. All of us, as one, humanity is lonely. It's longing for something. It's quite shared. You can always find it in the other. And this in itself is already healing. So truth is very often containing two polarities, two sides of a coin. The process of truth contains many polarities.